Hey guys, thanks for joining us over here at Rift and Revelry. You're with Revelry, and this is the first time we ever played Dilos on the Isle. Now, if you know anything about the Isle or have played it yourself, you know there are no tutorials and absolutely nothing at all that helps you as a new player figure things out. And sometimes that works out great. You get to go on a journey of discovery, and sometimes you really regret that decision later. Now, our goal here was just to grow, learn how Dilo works. At this point, we'd both been murdered by them several times playing other dinos on the roster. And we thought, you know what? It's our turn. Luckily, we did spawn near enough to one another, and I found Rift without too much trouble, especially since
Are you white as fuck?
he stood out just a little bit. Just a little bit. One of the biggest challenges for us in playing any kind of carnivore is being able to make it to the adult stage period. Usually a carno, a cerato, an angry stego with a grudge, will pop out of a bush and eat us before we get very far. So we figured west access, perfect place, tons of AI, water, everything we could possibly need. We could grow here without too much trouble and get a chance to actually, experiment with the Dilo and enjoy it before, someone objected to our existence. Of course, the first AI spawn we found immediately juked us and disappeared. But not to worry, the Isle taketh, but the Isle giveth back again. Well, eventually. Hopefully. Probably. There's definitely more food around here, right? There's always more food around here. At this point, we'd sniffed, circled the lake, sniffed some more, and then they do exist. We wasted absolutely no time chowing down, hoping that at least we could fill our bellies a little bit. And chicken is on the Dilo diet. Yay! Of course, that's not a very big meal for two quickly growing baby Dilos, so we set off in search of another bite to eat. Wow, look at all this nothing. And then we heard the goat. Well, it's not a goat, but I'll take it. Well, not like that.
Sorry.
Oh, great. A Carno. With him here, it might be harder to find AI. Either he'd eat it all or he'd chase it all off, and if we tried to catch it, we'd draw attention to ourselves, and then he'd probably just eat us instead. Better to stay far away from him. We retreated to what seemed like a safe enough distance where we could both watch where he went and eat yet another small catch that Rift managed to pick up along the way. Lucky for us, Carno apparently had places to be, though my curiosity did have me looking for him longer than I probably should have. Rift thought he spotted a deer, and so we took off after it. You guys ever get stuck on trees when you're in the middle of trying to hunt something? No? Just me? Okay. And lost it. Dang it. Well, doing nothing just means starving, so back to hunting we go. And then Rift came through again. Apex predator that he is. Oh. You chicken. Thanks, DoorDash! Remember to tip your drivers, folks. It's a dangerous job out here. Unfortunately, as growing babies tend to do, we were eating more and more, and the chickens were disappearing faster and faster. We were going to have to find something bigger. If we couldn't, we were going to have to migrate somewhere else, and the odds of running into a bigger, scarier, more alert predator were much higher. Then I spotted another one.
Deer! Oh, it's a goat! It's a goat! It's a goat! I got him! I got him! I got him! I got him!
How many Dilos does it take to take down one tiny goat? Success! And I think I only bit Rift maybe once during that process. Maybe. Now that's a more substantial meal. We were definitely a little bit proud of ourselves. Now that we were full, we could take a minute to just practice hunting and biting the prey instead of each other. Oops. Well, I did say we needed practice, didn't I? And we finally hit the juvenile stage. Yay! Now that we were actually fed and in no immediate danger of dying of starvation, it was time to relax a little bit and try to avoid being eaten while we grew a little bit bigger. Of course, a chicken promptly attacked my ankles, determined not to let us have peace after we killed so many of its brethren. He didn't want to put down my piece of meat in order to turn around and bite the little thing, so Rift took care of it. This is also when we discovered that chickens could now be swallowed whole. Man, sometimes this game is just too pretty. Comfortable now, we sat down in the tall grass, which still mostly hid us, to take advantage of the decent diet and growth rate. Aw, look at how cute and oblivious we are. Alright, time to quit slacking and get a move on. Up to two of us, Rift is more likely to get impatient and start looking for trouble. So, since we weren't babies anymore, and famous last words, I know, we decided it was time to go exploring a little bit. What I didn't know was that we'd find something on this same road much sooner than anticipated. Did you see him? I didn't. At least I didn't register what I was looking at until I stopped and turned around. Look! Of course, I walked up to it wondering what a weird flower it was until I got close enough.
Are you AFK?
I asked, like he could actually reply. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're a Dilo. Your stomach's not completely full. He's probably on your diet. Just eat him. But look how cute he is. What do you think? Would you just have eaten him right off the bat? I wonder if he thought we were just playing with our food. We couldn't resist hanging out with him for a minute. One of my favorite parts of playing the Isle is running into other players, especially when they don't, you know, kill you on sight, or make you wish they had killed you on sight. When he got up, we figured that was our cue to leave, and thought maybe he'd come with us. Of course, in hindsight, I wonder if he wasn't asking for a respawn. Then again, maybe not. He wasn't exactly trying to leap into my mouth after all. But all cute things end eventually, and he stopped following us. I'm glad the Isle doesn't have a global chat for a variety of reasons. But man, I was dying to know what he was thinking. We left him behind. I wonder what happened to him. And we were off again to explore. Soon it would be time to hunt, and hopefully we'd have a little better luck. Our stomachs low, we made our way to Highland Lake, a favorite place to visit. I didn't find any more baby pterodons waiting on the road or in a bush, but we did find something else. A deer! Never mind, it's another goat. And we're still biting each other. This is why we need to practice. goat consumed, we sat down for a moment to heal the bleed. Dilo seems to have sensitive skin. It took longer than I thought, but the plus sign finally came up. Of course, by the time it did, it was time for us to hop off for the day. We concluded that Dilo was fun to play. Oh, sweet summer children, if we only knew. When we logged on next, it was raining. A lot. Loudly. Luckily, since we logged off near each other, it was easy enough to find Rift, even in the dark. And we were able to group up, after I jump-scared him, of course. Explored around the lake, looking for food, and I discovered a super fun black box on the way. For now, though, everything was perfect. Food, water. What more could we want? We were still in the juvenile stage. Hadn't even hit sub-adult yet. There it is! Sub-adult! That felt like such an accomplishment. We even got our venom. We knew what it was. Now if only we'd known how to use it. I was pretty sure it had something to do with a right click. But that was the extent of my knowledge. Time to find something to test it on. Of course, when it appeared to do a whole lot of nothing, probably should have been my first cue to just look it up. Oh, and feeling strangely confident for a pair of Dilos who had no idea what they were doing, we decided to keep roaming around Highland Lake. This definitely wasn't gonna go wrong. And then Rift spotted the first harbinger of doom, a Sarah. I went over to investigate. How big was it? Our stomachs are full, and it wasn't attacking us, so we had no reason to attack it, right? My famously poor navigation skills took me in a circle before I realized I was going the wrong way. I still didn't even see it until its head moved. There you are. It had a body, and although it didn't really respond to our friendly calls, aside from getting up and moving closer to the body, we didn't really see a problem with it, and we weren't quite that calm. Not yet. So we elected to leave it in peace. Definitely not a decision we'd come to regret. So we kept exploring, practicing our hunting skills and searching for AI, generally not being a bother to anybody. started hearing a baby dipple off in the distance, spamming one call the way they sometimes do when they're trying to find their herd mates. It was tempting to go check it out, but last time we did that, we ended up dying to a massive mixed bag. That video is for another time, though. Besides, I tend to feel bad killing babies or anything particularly helpless to defend itself against me. I know that's not how a lot of people play the Isle. Kill on sight, I am Dino, hear me roar and fall off cliffs and stuff, but that's not how I enjoy the play, so unless it's an emergency and I'm starving, I generally don't. And soon we were back in the same area that we'd seen the Sarah the first time. I'm not sure why we didn't just leave, actually. Maybe because it hadn't attacked us before, and since we had reciprocated in kind, we figured it would be safe enough. Silly, silly Dilos. We spotted another deer. Having space in our stomach, we decided to go for it. This time, the hunt went a little bit better. We didn't even bite each other that time. Success! And then Rift went exploring over the hill again. And almost immediately after, I heard the sound we all know and dread. Sarah. This one was not coming. At first, it looked like we'd be alright. Even though Rift had sort of stun-locked himself in his surprise and taken several bites directly to the face, neither of us were dead and I was only bleeding. Who has two tiny Dilo arms and forgot Sarah has a directional light? That'd be me. Of course, we knew we had the venom, but still didn't know how to use it. Or even if we'd bitten him enough times ourselves for it to kick in. And then Rift went down. Honestly, this Sarah probably thought he either won the lottery or that we were playing with our tools. I couldn't decide what to do. At this point, I probably could have run away, hid in a bush, rest, recover, and waited for Rift to respawn, but well, as they say, indecision can be a killer. Then the Sarah charged, and I couldn't get my sprint to work. Knowing I was definitely gonna die at this point, I decided to turn around and just bite him for all it was worth. Which wasn't very much. Oh well, there's always next time. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to join us again on the eternal quest to get good, remember to like, share, subscribe, etc. See you next time!